Hello again everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're moving back over to the Sega Mega Drive today with Pete Sampras Tennis. Now, a tennis game is something I've been wanting to play for a while, but I didn't know which one. I've got quite a few. I've got like Virtua Tennis, Top Spin, Smash Tennis on the Super Nintendo, and Pete Sampras Tennis. Not too many. I've got Mario Tennis games and stuff like that, but I've got a memory about Pete Sampras Tennis, so we'll go through that as I'm kind of playing. We're going to go through and do the world tour. I don't really know who to play as. Let me just see. I always used to think for some reason that I actually used to play as Pete Sampras. Oh no, that's right. Yeah, I remember now. You can play as whoever you want, but you can like change their name. USA, Japanese, Italian, USA, France. It's fine. Greece, Japan, France. Let's see if we can go in English or Great Britain or something. Maybe they might be right at the front. So yeah, the memory I've got of this is I was at school one day and came back and oh, there is no English people. Okay, well that's fine. I'll just be this dude, I guess. And it says, do you want to enter your own name? So I will say yes. So I'll just put I guess that will do. That will do. No, I don't, but I will. I think I remember some of the passwords. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so the password for this one is start, and then the next one, like they're actually quite easy passwords. Anyway, I came up, excuse me, I came in from school, and I just heard like some video game noises coming from my bedroom, and I was like, oh, gotta get used to this. And I was thinking, what is that? Like, what is that noise? It sounds like a game that I've never heard before. So I ran up into my bedroom, excited, and it turns out it was my mum and my stepdad playing this game. And like, we never owned a Sega Mega Drive, so the Sega Mega Drive was brand new, and I just flipped out, see that we had this game and Mega Games 1, which I think everybody had, which included Columns, Super Hang-On, and World Cup Italia 90. We eventually ended up getting like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but it was just such a great memory coming home from school and seeing a brand new Sega Mega Drive just out of nowhere in my bedroom, and they were playing it on my old wardrobe. So I one thing you probably won't know about me, but I didn't exactly. I mean, it's very obvious I'm not rich, but like we grew up in like a council estate, so we weren't like well off kind of thing. So a new Sega Mega Drive was amazing, and it was like incredible for us. Me and all my friends kind of grew up all on council estates, everything, and we all kind of had a very similar upbringing. Like our parents weren't made of money or anything, so my wardrobe, it was like breaking. It was on its last legs, and my mum and my stepdad like just gutted it out. Bought me a new one as well, and they turned my old one on its side and turned it into like a TV cabinet. It was like a really good idea, but that was just the way that we used to kind of like make the most of what was available to us back then. And it was just so cool. It was so cool to see, and it was such a happy memory to come and play this. And like my sister was playing this with us. My mum was playing Pete Sampras, and eventually we got Sonic 2, and we were playing so much of Sonic 2. And obviously I played Sega Mega Drive. Whoops. I played Sega Mega Drives before, but that was like on Sega buses in the Dagenham Town show, where that was the first time I saw like the original Sonic the Hedgehog. And my friends owned a Sega Mega Drive, so it was great because back then I weren't really aware of Sega too much. I mean, when I was a kid, it was all about Nintendo. Everyone I knew had a Nintendo Entertainment System, and no one, I didn't know anybody had a Sega Master System, and it kind of, that console was completely irrelevant to me. I knew nothing about its existence. And then when the Sega Mega Drive came out and we got one, I was just completely gobsmacked by how good it looked. And I started to kind of twist from being like she should have left that as going out. I cut from going like from a Nintendo person to a Sega person. I was just absolutely loving Sega, and then eventually we got a Super Nintendo, and I just went straight back to Nintendo because the Super Nintendo was just miles better, and that's a whole nother story. But yeah, this is why I've decided, out of all the tennis games I've got, why I'm picking to play Pete Sampras Tennis. It's got some great sound effects. oops. I love the fact that the crowd moved. I love the noise of the crowd. I love the fact that the umpire states its scores. It's just for me, this is just a nice little tennis game. I don't remember completing it or getting too far in it, but yeah, I love this. I think as well, if I manage to shoot the ball like into the like there's the two guys sitting down there. If you can shoot between their legs, they close their legs. So that's another funny thing. It's just like minor little details that I just love about this game. Excuse me. I was coughing and I don't want it to be on my mic, so I had to mute it there. I don't know what it is about me. I always cough when I start to record and I talk too much. Everything about this, I love it. And you can even do other things with this, and I'm not too sure how, because, you know, I looked it up on how to do this particular thing, and I'm not too sure. Oh, there we go, I'm doing it.
Thank you.
So yeah, you can argue with the umpire, and I just absolutely love that. Like I'm certain. I mean, I'll say I'm certain, but I don't know of too many other tennis games where you can do that. Just loved everything about this game, and you know, it's developed by Codemasters. You know, they are or were like the king of kind of sports games. Of these type of games, like games that you know weren't necessarily EA basically. So like EA. I mean, EA burst onto the scene in around 1994, roughly around the same time as this, to be honest. And, you know, Codemasters made, like, unbelievable games. Like, you know, you'd be talking Pete Sampras Tennis, you'd be talking Micro Machines. Oops. I'm not happy with that, umpire. Sort it out. You gotta be kidding me. Fuck you.
Thank you. 15.
I just love that quiet, please. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, Codemasters. I only got through 2 Codemasters games, but they ended up like just basically focusing on. You know, they made Psycho Pinball as well. What a great game that is. You know, Codemasters was so unique back in the day. And I know I'm missing so many games. There's so many that like elude me right now. But. They were great, and you know I would definitely say that they were better than EA with some of their titles. Oh, that's another thing. I mean, obviously Codemasters made LMA Manager. Let's be serious here. Like they made LMA Manager. They made the music games. They really pushed the boundaries of what was new in the gaming industry. Like. A creation tool, a music creation tool on the PlayStation, and they even moved that over to. We're going into Tokyo now, and the password is car. Hope we can remember that. Car. Yeah, they moved the music game onto the Game Boy Advance and everything, and they really kind of like really were imaginative and creative with their games and their software.
15. Love.
And now all they do is quite literally racing games, and it is quite sad to see, you know, Codemasters do that. You know, they were primarily, I guess, sports games, I guess, because I don't really know too many Codemasters games outside of that. I think maybe Dizzy was one of them. I've got to try and remember. I can't think off the top of my head right now whilst I'm trying to talk and concentrate on this game at the same time. But yeah, they were great, and you know, and what not full circle, but what an interesting turn of events it came to be when EA acquired Codemasters, and that's pretty much it, really. I think Codemasters, as we used to know, is well and truly kind of gone, and it is a shame. But saying that, you know, I mean, they are still making the Formula 1 games, and you know, I recently saw a Digital Foundry video on the Formula 1 24 game that's out now. I don't mind Formula 1, and I'll get back to tennis eventually, and share my thoughts on that. But I can watch Formula One. I quite enjoy it. It's quite long. You know, I mean, you're looking at like spending a good 2-3 hours of your day watching a race, which is not something I'm particularly fond of. I don't mind watching highlights, I guess, but I enjoy playing the game more than I like watching the actual sport, and that's true with a lot of sports games for me. I've played, I think the last Formula One game I played, now let's just go back to the beginning again, like Formula One. Talking about Formula One when I should be talking about tennis. But I'm playing, I used to play like pole position on the Atari 2600, and then kind of moved into like Ayrton Senna, I think it was, on Monaco Grand Prix on the Sega Mega Drive. But then when Formula One came out on the PS1, on the original PlayStation, I was absolutely blown away by it. It's absolutely just so good, just hearing Murray Walker commentate whilst you were racing. It just felt real. Like, I know it looks bad by today's standards, but back then, in the early 90s, that felt real. And I remember showing my dad the demo, who was a massive Formula One fan, and he was just absolutely gobsmacked by it. Like, he could not believe like just how real it was. To fast forward to today, you know, I think the last Formula One game I played, I think, was Formula One 2017, which was on the PlayStation 4. It may have been a bit later than that. It may have been 18 or 19. Maybe even later than that, 20. I'll have to check my my phone, because I've got my collection database on there. And yeah, I must admit, I really enjoyed playing it. Now, I saw Formula One 24 on the Digital Foundry video, which was doing a side-by-side demonstration of the PS5 and the PS5 Pro, and seeing the difference between the base PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro, just, I was already sold on the PS5 Pro anyway, because I'm one of those people that do have to have the latest and greatest things. That would be true with a new Xbox if it were to come out. It's not true for PC, because PC is too expensive. Like, I cannot justify, spending $2,500 on my PC, which is what I did, and then a new graphics coming out for another $2,000, and then buying that. I can't justify that. That's just beyond absurd. So I'm not doing that. So PC it doesn't ring true for, and consoles are my go-to for gaming anyway. I will always be a console gamer, despite the fact that I've got a fairly decent PC. Like I said last time, I've got like a 3080, 64 gig DDR5 RAM, all that kind of gibberish. It's okay, you know. It runs games. You know, I think it's considered like still more powerful than my Series X and my PS5, but I don't play it. You know, I want it because I want to have less restrictions on the PC games that I do play, but it won't be long, and it probably already is at that stage, probably gone past that stage where there are games I'm just not going to be able to run at full detail. And that's why I dislike PC gaming more than anything. Not just that, but you get more issues with PC than you do with any other system. Like, you know, it's not always stable. It's probably the least stable of all the consoles, so of all the gaming platforms. And I can't be arsed with it. You know, I want to buy a console and I want to play it. I don't want to build the fucking thing and, you know, do all that shit. So whenever I do buy another PC, it will be pre-built, because I can't build them anyway, because I don't have steady hands, and I'll bend those pins on the CPU like anybody's business, like it's going out of fashion. Right, so we won our second game here. I'm going on about this. I should really be talking about tennis. So what are my thoughts on tennis as a whole? I don't really like tennis, if I'm honest, as a sport. I don't enjoy. I hate watching tennis. I find it so boring. I really do. And this is coming from someone that enjoys watching snooker. So, like, I guess everyone's different. Like, I totally understand why people find a sport like snooker and golf boring, but I quite like watching both those sports. You know, not religiously. I'll just watch them from time to time, but I can watch them. Tennis, I just can't watch. I just don't find tennis interesting at all. I find it so repetitive. You're literally like you're hitting the ball back and forth again and again. That's literally all there is to it. Don't get me wrong, that's probably going to draw so much criticism. I know that there's skill involved. I've tried playing tennis and I cannot do what they do. Every time I hit a tennis ball, I can't keep it in the court. So I know there is absolutely a skill to it, and it's not just a skill. It's the stamina that you need, and I certainly wouldn't have that. So I respect the sport. I respect the players. I just don't like it. I find it boring. It's as simple as that.
14
you know, with
love.
snooker, I find that there's, you know, again, this might draw criticism, but I find there's a heck of a lot more skill to snooker and golf. You know, with snooker, not only do you have to think like quite a few shots ahead, you need to be so deadly accurate on where you hit the cue ball, the power you hit that cue ball. And again, look, it's probably the same with tennis. You know, there's probably a way that you move your tennis racket to put some spin on the tennis racket. You know, getting the exact power behind it and all that kind of stuff. And you probably do need to think moves ahead and stuff like that. But I just find snooker so much more impressive, I guess, is probably one of the words I'm looking for. I'm just keeping an eye on my cat down below me, underneath my desk, who's rubbing his face on my cables. That's one thing I don't have, is cable management skills at all. I'm not a installations engineer. I'm a remote support engineer, and I'm not. And again, I wouldn't consider myself a very good remote support engineer. I know enough to get me by, basically, in IT. Anyway. Let me just go on to tennis. So yeah, and it's the same with golf. Like, you know, I mean, you've got to whack a ball hundreds and hundreds of miles, hit it just right at a perfect sweet spot on the club, to keep it on the fairway, to get spin on it, and I find it so impressive. Again, I can probably watch snooker more than I can watch golf. Golf is not something that I can spend hours of my time watching, but I love watching the highlights, and I do like watching hole-in-one shots and stuff like that, because it is and long birdies and long eagles and stuff like that. It's so impressive. And so where I'm getting at with that is, like, whilst I don't necessarily like the sport tennis to watch, I really enjoy playing tennis games. But normally, sometimes I find that when I play the game, it encourages me to watch the sport. But with tennis, I just can't. I honestly just don't enjoy watching tennis as a sport, but I really enjoy the games, and that's why I've got quite a few of them. You know, I really do want to play the new Topspin game as well. I have not got a chance to play that, but I do know that as I don't know no idea what just happened there. As games evolve, so do the sports, so do the buttons as well. So obviously, it's not going to be like this, where all I've got is like the B button to push, and maybe even the A button, which does a lob there. Oh, that was not out. You have got to be kidding me, umpire, ref, whatever your name's called. No, I don't tell them to shut up either. They were on my side. They knew that was in.
Thank you. 30 all.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it with me and sport. I mean, like, I used to really get involved in hockey as well, ice hockey. I was learning to skate at one point because I wanted to join a hockey team. It was a recreational hockey team, so there weren't no body checks and stuff like that. It was just a case of, get the puck in a decent gentlemanly way, and that's it, kind of thing. I was too old to actually get pushed into the fucking boards and stuff like that. But I learned how to skate, and I was I wanted to join a team, but unfortunately I moved away from Romford, and where I am in Basildon, there's not really an ice rink that's really close. I've still got my skates, but I don't ever go anymore. I would quite like to just go around and skate around the rink every now and then, but I would never consider joining a hockey team anymore. But I love ice hockey as well. Like, I really enjoyed ice hockey. I used to follow the Toronto Maple Leafs quite a bit, and I love playing the games. But again, the games are quite difficult as well. Like, I would not do very well on the standard difficulty. I'd have to put it down to easy, because I found that they're just like too many controls, and it got a bit not awkward, but just, I guess, difficult for me. Sorry, I weren't paying any attention there, because my cat's got a really annoying habit of coming into the room, sitting down and just staring daggers through me until I do something, and I don't know what it is he wants. I mean, I know he's like 20 years old, but he just literally just stares at me, and he doesn't want love, because this cat has never wanted love. He just wants food. And the problem is when he stares at you and meows for food, he winds himself up and he eventually becomes sick. And I don't know what to do, because there's nothing I can do, because he's got hypothyroidism and he's got kidney failure, bless him, and I can't just keep feeding him, So, excuse me. So that's another game in the books there. Where are we at? We're at 20 minutes on this video, and now we're playing a chain. Why am I facing all women? Have I been facing any guys here at the minute? This is really weird. Like, I don't really seem to see too many mixed match kind of mixed gender kind of games on tennis. I don't know. Again, I don't watch tennis. Maybe it happens all the time, but I just thought like men's tournaments were men's tournaments and women's tournaments were women's tournaments. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Right, so we were at Dusseldorf Grass Court, round 4. Password is start. I don't know how many rounds there are, but I think we'll leave this one here. It's 20 minutes in. It's a good place to leave it. I've talked my fucking arse off on this one, and I do apologise if you want to hear more about the game, but I guess I've got stories to tell, and that's it. So hopefully it's not too annoying for you, and you enjoy watching them and listening to the stories that I have to tell. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and like and subscribe because it would help us out. We've gained a lot of subscribers. I'll talk about that in the next episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much. Take care.